Okay, so Lon, we're going to have a look at your flight of last Saturday, which was the 26th of March 2022, and you got away and had a good flight in a rather difficult day, given that it had the easterly and all that. So we're going to start the flight here with your winch launch. You just come off the launch and you're running across onto the ridge here.
Right. I earlier gone to Errol's Knob and didn't get anything, and so here I'm just trying all the normal places and not finding anything. And as I come down to about 1,000 feet at AGL, I started on downwind and then blundered into some lift there. And you can see, I found this really interesting. There's a southerly, just barely maintaining altitude. Lots of circles here, just barely maintaining altitude. But you can see from the drift, it's from the south. Okay, and there I get a little bit of climb, but now I'm not climbing anymore. So I went back upwind, started climbing again.
Yeah, sort of go back upwind and find the next one coming through the wind flow, I reckon.
Right. Now I'm climbing and
doing pretty well. What height are you there? 2,000.
2,800, 2,900. Now I'm over 3. So you can see the wind shifted here. It was pretty much from the south, and now it's from the west more. Maybe even a little northwest. And lots of circles here, just struggling. Headed over, towards Speargrass. Thought I found something there, but no. Back again.
I had launched a bit earlier than you, and I was falling out, and I started my motor and went over to the car park area and got a good thermal there. So you knew about that, didn't you?
Yeah. It gave me some confidence to head over this way.
You had to do the hard yards to get up enough height to get over there, though.
Yeah. And, a lot of just barely staying up in this southerly flow, but boom, I get over here.
Everything's blue, there's no clouds anywhere, is there?
Yeah, not much.
Quite a strong wind there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Throwing you back.
Quite a bit better. And I found this really interesting. The wind's south there, just to the west of Speargrass. And then, okay, this is pretty good. But look how the circles are just on top of each other.
Yeah. I wonder if it's the wind that was coming up the Buller meeting the wind that's coming down the Speargrass.
Yeah, this is the first for me, I think, in flight to actually say, okay, I've observed my drift and, hey, it's got to be a convergence. The wind was one direction.
But now you're back sort of out of that convergence.
Right, it's like I climbed over the top of it.
Yeah, back in the wind flow.
Yeah.
And I'd already been ahead of you and been over the Raglins. On the radio I said to you, don't mess around with the Sonanas, get over the Raglins, it's good over here.
Yeah, so...
And you're 7,200 feet and you just did that, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I try to be coachable.
And Dave Smith had trouble with the Raglins in his flight, unbeknownst to us. He found the Raglins, the Sonanas, the Sonanas were bad in the easterly on that day, he found.
Yeah, so right to the famous Frank spot. Not a lot of wind, pretty calm there.
Yeah.
And kind of going around to the different sunny spots.
You haven't really hooked anything strong yet.
No, but I'm over 7. Okay, so there we go.
That's good. 8,000. And I'd already come along ahead of you and found this a good run along here, but yours wasn't that great, was it?
No, I mean
8,000's good on any day.
Yeah.
Good views. And there's bits of clouds over here now, aren't there?
Yeah, there's actually quite a few clouds. On the day, I didn't find them very helpful. I kept going under clouds and not really finding much of a climb. Zero sync, but nothing real strong.
Yeah, so you're coming up the head of our favourite place, the head of Lees Creek.
Yeah, just trying the different peaks, sunny spots.
Oh yeah, because I latched onto a really good one there and got to 9.5 real quick. So you come back.
Yeah,
But there's a lot of wind on that, isn't there?
yeah, quite.
I was getting 20 knots a bit further south from here, 20 knots southeast, I reckon.
Yeah, quite the southerly.
Quite a southerly there.
Then, back up towards the head of Lees Creek again, another try. I mean, this is an area that's normally often quite good. And you were up on Turk Ridge at this point, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to Turk Ridge and went south from there, and there were clouds, but it wasn't easy. And I'd end up coming back onto Turk Ridge and then back.
So the same thing back at the head of Lees Creek. And at this point, you said that you were heading back over towards the St. Arnaud. So,
Yeah.
and asked me if I'd done that before, just following the ridges up, which is what I did.
It was normally an upwind push, with the southwest, but here we've probably got a tailwind component and coming around onto our favourite spot, the Camel.
Mm-hmm. So I caught a good one here.
Good climb on the Camel. You still got a bit of drift on that.
Yeah, well, there's definitely a southerly.
I kept wondering whether it might fly in a bit of wave, but I never saw any wave.
Yeah. So at this point, I was hoping I needed another climb if I was going to get through Traverse Saddle.
Because it wasn't a very relaxing day, was it? Everything seemed wrong. The wind was on the wrong side of the ridge and the sun was the other side.
Yeah.
But that was a good climb.
Yeah, so here I am getting as much out of it as I can, easily through the saddle. And you warned me that with that easterly component that it was probably not so good along the sunny side of the ridge of the Robert. And you had gone down.
I'd gone across the Mahangas,
So at this point, I'm just heading home.
I mean, if you can be on top of a ridge, it doesn't kind of matter too much. You stay on top.
Yeah.
But when you start falling off, you've got to figure which side to fall off. And, there has been some people who have some bad experiences on that Traverse Range on the western side.
Yeah, so here the field was a little
congested,
so I took a climb when I blundered into it and then headed off towards...
Yeah, the flight's over already, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just kind of killing time here.
Yeah.
Then pulled the brakes out and
landed. Oh, well, that was a good flight in scratchy sort of conditions, and there were some good thermals if you could find them. It was hard to know where they were going to be. They tended to be in the sort of house thermal favourite spots, didn't they? Think about it.
Yeah, I found it really interesting to look at the flight track. I think I got some insights that I'm sure I'd been told about before, but didn't really appreciate how much I could see about the wind and from my drift, and how much that might inform me. I felt really, there you can see again that.
So this is looking at the drift on the day on your flight computer.
Right. Well, yeah, but over the ground as well. I mean, mainly over the ground.
Right.
I was just, because I have been looking at the wind, what the computer says the wind is, but I think this mental picture, see, it's pretty calm, just barely, I'm just making one circle after another on top of itself. Then I get a little bit of climb and I start drifting. Then I head back upwind, and all that I might have been doing before, but I wasn't really aware of it. And then it kicks in, and with a lot of patience, I managed to get away.
I guess it's easy to think the wind is, 10 knots from southwest, and it's 10 knots from southwest everywhere, but you get out and around in our mountains, and you go from one valley to another, and you go from one wind to another wind, don't you?
Yeah,
a strong wind, a calm wind.
And with altitude.
And with altitude it changes, and even, as you saw there, you know, quite close by, you had 3 thermals, and one of them had no drift and the other 2 did, and they were within stone's throw of one another.
Yeah.
Anyway, we better end it there. We'll be on here all
Okay.
night. See ya.